Good evening. Responsive audience, good evening. My name is Peter McKeith. It's my privilege to be the Dean of the Fay Jones School of Architecture and Design at the University of Arkansas. And on behalf of our faculty and staff, as well as our graduates, I want to welcome all visitors to this spring commencement ceremony in the year 2022. As we begin, I'd like to ask everyone to please rise and remain standing while we hear and hopefully sing to our national anthem, as well as lift every voice and sing. Please.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, who throws stripes and bright stars through the perilous night? O'er the ramparts we watched with so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Again, I want to welcome us all to this spring 2022 commencement ceremony for the Fay Jones School. And in my words of welcome, I want to make sure that we recognize two distinguished members of the university community who join us. I'd like to first introduce our University of Arkansas Board of Trustee member Kelly Eichler. And secondly, we're equally honored to be joined by Provost Terry Martin. As we begin as well, I would like to ask our graduates to take a breath. Inhale, exhale, to perhaps understand the moment and take this moment fully and recognize it for what it is. Life from here forward, of course, is commencing, as the word goes, and it is important to slow down just slightly, to take full measure of where you are, and in fact, where we are as a school. Earlier today, those who attended the university commencement ceremony heard from Chancellor Robinson, who quoted from a favorite song as his theme for his remarks, "Ain't No Mountain High Enough," in which he indicated through the words of that song that we all should be aspiring to greater heights. We all should be aspiring to cross the river. We all should be aspiring to move across those valleys. Aspiring is about breathing as well as about hoping. And so I ask you to take Chancellor Robinson's words to heart as we begin this ceremony specifically for you. Inhale, exhale, slow down, aspire. We are beginning. We'll begin first, in fact, by hearing from our salutatorian, your classmate and colleague, Matthew Wilson. Matthew Wilson of Rogers, Arkansas, who will soon move only slightly away from the campus to the corner of Center and College to work in the office of Marlin Blackwell Architects. Matthew joins us today to share his thoughts and his words of greetings to you, our graduating class. Matthew, please.
Thank you, Dean McKeith. It is my privilege to extend a warm welcome to you, my fellow classmates, professors, families, and friends. I would also like to take the time to thank and recognize the students of this class who had primary roles in leading our student organizations. Ben Ebsmeyer, former president of AIAS, Megan Paul, former president of ASID, Rodrigo Carrillo, former president of ASLA, and Isai Castaneda, former president of NOMAS. Thanks to all of you, along with many of our other classmates who took part in these amazing organizations to help push the school and its students past just learning and to be more involved outside of our education. When I look back on my time at the school, I can't say this journey has been easy, but I'm sure that all of us who sit here today can say that it was worth it in the end. 5 years ago, in the fall of 2017, I was able to start this journey. On this day was the day of the solar eclipse, and the first assignment in studio was to draw the shadows that we saw around campus. There are many nice tonal perspectives of the school, but once we all laid all the drawings out on the floor of the gallery, our professors all fell in love with one in particular. A drawing of the darkest charcoal circle I have ever seen in my life. And from that point on, and I think I can speak for the rest of us, knew it was going to be a wild ride. This journey has been long, and through ups and downs during our time, we were able to make it here to today. As we all continue past our time at the school, we were able to take the teachings from our professors to apply and push the field of architecture and design further. We, as a class, have learned that we have the ability to change the lives of the people around us, The Fay Jones School and its faculty have been able to give us lessons and new ways of thinking from when we first stepped foot in the front door. And we want to thank each of you for your passion, dedication, and influence on our education. And to our friends and families, thank you for listening to our stories and letting us explain our projects to you, even if you have no idea what we're talking about. I appreciate the memories that we will be able to take with us on our own journeys and to hopefully be able to cross paths again. On behalf of the class of 2022, I want to welcome and thank everyone again in attending this special celebration of our hard work and dedication. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Matthew. I want to point out to our audience that the 7 faculty sitting in this front row are not the totality of the school's faculty. We, in fact, enjoy an immensely larger faculty by 10 times. And we're very privileged to have these great representatives of our faculty with us today. So as Matthew recognizes the faculty, I want to make sure that credit is being given several rows back all the way to our faculty. We have a tradition at our commencements, especially in the spring, of recognizing those who have sat in your chairs before you, 50 years ago and 25 years ago. You are all exceptional, but you join an exceptional community of alumni. And we recognize, for many reasons, both the class of 1972 first. I'd like to have that slide, please. As you look at this slide, there are perhaps many thoughts that might come to mind, but I want to remind us all, in 1972, we were in the midst of a Cold War, still moving towards détente, even moving towards nuclear arms treaties. We were continuing with the Vietnam War. We were in the space race. Watergate was happening in Washington, D.C., and the Equal Rights Amendment had been moved from the U.S. House of Congress to the states for ratification. It's also so architecturally, at least Pruitt-Igoe housing project was demolished in 1972, for many signaling the end of modern architecture, if that ever could be said. That's 1972. We look at the slide of 1997, 25 years ago. Again, wonderful graduates all. But here too, 1997, 25 years ago, Bill Clinton was beginning his second term as president. Interestingly, internet term www.google.com was registered in 1997, and Steve Jobs returned to Apple, heading towards the iPhone, among other things. There was a stock market crash in October, which I'm sure many here in the seating might remember. And it was so that also at the end of 1997, an avian flu virus was identified around the world, and measures were being taken to prevent its spread. We must think back. We move forward, however, into the present, and with that, into special recognitions. And with that, I'd like to ask Associate Dean and Professor of Architecture Ethel Goodstein-Murphy to shepherd us through our special recognitions. Ethel, please.
Thank you, Peter. Good evening, everyone, especially our class of 2022, favorite students, now colleagues, and friends. As is our custom, in April, we celebrate honors and awards. And indeed, last month, the Fay Jones School of Architecture and Design recognized the outstanding achievements of our students at our honors and awards recognition reception. Although time does not permit us to recap those announcements in detail today, we will take the opportunity to honor these distinguished graduates once again. All recipients of final year awards and distinctions, you know who you are, including our Honors College scholars. Please stand and let those gathered celebrate your achievements once again. Don't be shy. We don't build careers on being shy. Okay, this is just the beginning of feeling the love tonight. I like it. In the last week of the semester, however, through the hard work of our honors committee led by Dr. Noah Billig, we were able to name one additional award that we'll be able to announce this evening. And that is the Architectural Research Centers Consortium's King Medal. Sponsored, no surprise, by the Architectural Research Centers Consortium, a scholarly organization of which the school is a member. The award is given to one student per ARCC member college, school, institution, or unit. Selection of recipients is based upon criteria that acknowledge innovation, integrity, and scholarship in architectural and environmental design research. First, I would like to name the recipient of the honorable mention for the ARCC King Medal, which goes to Isai Castaneda for his honors capstone, The Evolution of Place and Neighborhood Identity in Boyle Heights, Los Angeles. And I know that the committee communicated this was a very hard decision because we had some remarkable and truly graduate-level work among our honor students. But in a remarkable group of projects, it is our pleasure to award the King Medal to Kayla Ho for her honors capstone, A Story of the Social Life of Yulupa Co-Housing. Kayla, stand up, girl. We are so proud of this remarkable class, who we have seen grow, who I have seen grow from university perspectives on day one, through a pivot, through a pandemic, to return to one special year together to bring us here this evening. And perhaps because of that, it's a special honor for me, after having named all these other honors, to introduce our commencement speaker, Benjamin Ebismeyer. You think I'm going to sit down so quick? Then they haven't been talking about me much. It's a very special honor to introduce Bachelor of Architecture recipient Benjamin Ebismeyer. The recognition Senior Scholar in so many ways speaks for itself. It conveys excellence by the numbers, denoting the first-ranked graduating seniors of the Fay Jones School. In Ben's case, it also includes recognition as the American Institute of Architects Medalist for Academic Excellence, the honor of being one of 71 University of Arkansas seniors of significance, with the added distinction of being one of only 20 university graduating seniors named Razorback Classics. So too, his resume lists too many well-deserved scholarships to name from our own school, from the university as one of its presidential scholars, and from the Honors College. The long list of accolades, however, reveals only a narrow glimpse at the special young man that is Ben Ebismeyer. In introduction, please allow me to open up that window a little wider. As a first-year student, Ben presented his ideas for rethinking the old main lawn with such assurance and style you'd think he'd been doing it for a long professional life. By his second year, he was confident enough to appear on Halloween dressed in emulation of our esteemed dean, Maramako shirt and all. Aspirational thinking? Damn right. During his third year, He led the American Institute of Architecture Students chapter as its president, using his instincts for strong leadership to maintain ties among his peers as the pandemic drastically altered their life worlds. And it was also a time when he was able to engage his ethical commitment to social justice to launch the school's first Freedom by Design chapter in service to the community. His selfless service to the school earned Ben a well-deserved reputation as one of the most proactive and, I hope, toughest teaching assistants to ever have entered a virtual classroom, keeping a very old-school design history professor out of trouble on more than one occasion. Thank you, Zoom. But you don't know Ben until you break down the latest hip-hop jam with him. Ben's quest for understanding space, place, and culture generated his brilliant honors capstone, a study of New York public housing as represented in the music of Jay-Z. Yes, really, this guy from Paris, Missouri, writes about hip-hop and housing, an inquiry that expanded his design thinking into the realms of cultural anthropology and music theory. In just a few weeks, Ben will take his talent to Kansas City, Missouri, where he will join El Dorado Architects. I thank his parents, I don't know where they're sitting, Marie and Jamie Ebesmeyer, and his three brothers, Josh, Teddy, and Chris, for sharing Ben with us for just a little while. I know that they are as eager as we are to observe all that will come next. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Benjamin Gerard Ebesmeyer, Bachelor of Architecture.
Thank you very much, Dr. Goodstein. How do you put the 5 most impactful years of your life into words? You can't, but that is the honor I am bestowed with today. Another difficult assignment in a school full of them. But if you're going to start anywhere with this assignment, I would guess you start with the people that made it happen. Mom and Dad, thank you for your constant support. You answered phone calls, you changed oil in my car, you helped me move apartments a bunch of times, and you did so much more, all with a smile on your face. What more could I ask for? Love you forever. Josh, Teddy, Chris, and Ryan, thanks for always giving me a break from school, oftentimes in the form of a random message, a chance to talk sports, games, pets, or anything else. It may have seemed small, but to me, it always meant the world. Love you guys. Marlena, thanks for pretending to understand what I am talking about when I call you late at night and you ask about my project. I'm still wondering why you don't just hang up after 2 minutes of my rambling, but I'm glad that you stick around. Love you. Dr. Goodstein, thanks for seeing potential in my classmates and I. Though you carry a strict demeanor, I've had the pleasure of coming to realize that it's mostly because you expect greatness from every one of us. Thank you for your unwavering support and mentorship. To the faculty and staff of the Fay Jones School of Architecture and Design, without you, none of this would be possible. You take in a class full of young, unpolished, and immensely talented individuals each year, and through hard work, patience, and an undying desire to educate, you turn us into who we are today. Thank you. To the benefactors and supporters, of which there are many, thank you for your belief in the work of this school and students like my classmates and I. We never truly know how to thank you, but perhaps the best way for us to do that is to carry on the work of the school. Thank you for helping us make that possible. And finally, to my classmates, keep being you. You are the most amazing collection of individuals I have ever had the pleasure to meet. 5 years spent working alongside and with you, we have become what I think anyone would describe as a family. A family that is there for each other when you need them to be. A family to give you smiles on a bad day. A family to laugh with, to cry with, to stay up late or sometimes all night with. And a family to grow with. As we go on to our next stages of life, remember this family we created and stay in touch. For the past 5 years, we have learned what design is and has been. It is now up to us to help define the future of design. We have been educated to understand the world of design, to have the knowledge to be creative, to investigate and study architecture, interior design, and landscape architecture. The past 5 years have been the groundwork for the rest of our lives, not just our professional lives, but every aspect of our lives. You could say that we have laid a foundation, a foundation for a lifetime of learning, a lifetime of investigating the world around us, a lifetime of questioning what we do and do not know, a lifetime to continue to grow together. Graduations have always seemed strange to me, not because of the silly gowns or the fanfare of it all, but because of the way that many see it as an ending. And yes, I do fall into the trap of remembrance and reflection over the past around graduations. However, I try to think of graduation as the close to one chapter of book and the start of the next. For many of us, it's a final goodbye, or as I like to say, see you later, because you never know when you might see someone, planned or not. But it does not have to be an ending. Perhaps it's just a threshold? Yeah. A threshold from the world of academia and learning through experiments to the professional world and learning through experience. A threshold with a door wide open for us, a door for us to step through and beyond. What are we going to take with us through this door? First and foremost, we are taking ourselves, and with us, all the experiences that have shaped us into the people we are today. Along with us, we are bringing each other. We walk to the door together, so let's help each other through it while we are all here together. We each have packed a toolbox to bring through the door with us, or as I think it's more commonly called, a degree. With these toolboxes, we each have similar but unique items to carry in it. Some of us have nails and hammers, some of us have a laptop, and some of us have books and notes. What we all have when we work together with these tools is the ability to construct a brighter future for all of us. We are walking through the door into a world in need of innovation, dedication, and care. A world in need of individuals like us with a toolbox and a desire to put our tools to work. Okay, I've gotten a little too metaphorical with this, so here's the nuts and bolts of the thing. All right, the truth of the matter is, we are ready for what comes next. We have done our due diligence. We have spent the time, lots of it, to be prepared for our individual futures. There's no advice that I can give you to further prepare you. That's not what I am here for. No, I believe that I've been given this opportunity to speak in front of you all as an opportunity to give my thanks to each one of you. You are my classmates, my friends, and my family. You are the people with which I have experienced the 5 most impactful years of my life. Thank you is not enough, but it's at least a place to start. So, how do you put the 5 most impactful years of your life into words? It's as simple as 2 words. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. I'm going to remark briefly, at least, on that. It is not often, or not often enough, in our school, in any school perhaps, that we hear the word love. But I am quite sure that everyone sitting in your seats today are here because of the love you have for your son or daughter, and that your son and daughter have for you. Our faculty love architecture, interior design, landscape architecture, and they love teaching. And through that medium, it's possible to say they love our students. I appreciate Ben saying those words so openly to your family. And I'd like to ask our graduates now to stand up and turn to where your family members are and applaud them for the love that you share. Could you please do so? Also keeps the blood moving, doesn't it? We have one more address, one more speaker before we come to the main event, of course, the awarding of degrees, but it is a privilege to be able to introduce our commencement speaker from the professional community. This afternoon's commencement speaker for spring 2022 is Roy Decker, principal of Duval Decker in Jackson, Mississippi, a fellow of the American Institute of Architects, and among other things, a consistent employer of our students over many, many years. Together with his partner, Anne-Marie Duval Decker, Roy founded the practice in a place defined by both palpable need and engaging culture. Their firm is a diverse and expanded practice employing planning, development, design, interior design, and building care to promote the quality of the built environment and the health and well-being of its inhabitants. Duval Decker delivers design excellence and promotes social, economic, and environmental quality no matter the scope, type, budget, or scale of the project. This is a place-centered practice intentionally with a focus on the public civic realm of design. And if you need some correlatives to that, you could look at the U.S. Federal Courthouse in Greenville, Mississippi. You could look at the Benny G. Thompson Academic and Civil Rights Center in Tougaloo College in Tougaloo, Mississippi. And for those living more locally here in Northwest Arkansas, especially in Springdale, you can go down into the center of Springdale and see the Springdale Municipal Center under construction right now. This is a practice which has decided to focus on community-engaged design to the greater good, with work for HBCUs, community colleges, K through 12, housing, and communities all over Mississippi and the greater South. And they have received state, regional, and national recognition consistently. A values-based design, a place-centered practice, a commitment to the public civic realm of design. These are, I would say, values that we would like our students to graduate with and head towards. And it is in that spirit that is, again, a privilege to introduce Roy Decker, welcome him into our family, and listen to his words. Ladies and gentlemen, Roy Decker, FAIA.
Thank you, Dean McKeith. I am honored and grateful to be here with you all today, this opportunity to share in your celebration. It's a huge accomplishment to work your way through 5 years of, and more, you've got graduate students here too, of design school. It's demanding, it's challenging, it's rewarding, and above all, you are all becoming important citizens in the leadership of our country and the making of our communities. Before we talk a little bit more about you, I want to also acknowledge your parents, though. As a parent, Ann and I have a son in college and another one on the way, so we're a little bit nervous about having two in college at the same time. So this is a kind of graduation for your parents too, so I do want to thank the parents for their support, their guidance, and their work to help you get here. So this is their graduation too. I want to begin by acknowledging our university, your University of Arkansas trustee, Kelly Eichler, and Provost Terry Martin, who I know is a great supporter of the school. No great school like yours is possible without the support of the administration and the trustees, so their work to underpin your school is here every day. I want to recognize the faculty and the talented department heads. Professor John Poland in architecture, Professor Ken McCowan in landscape architecture, Professor Carl Matthews in interior design. A school of design with a point of view does not just happen. The quality of the education is baked into the curriculum, the pedagogy, and it all flows from the conversations and commitment that happens with the faculty, the department heads, as they prepare to teach each year. This is a dedicated group that's passing on the knowledge and the inspiration from a design school in all of these fields. I also want to offer a special acknowledgement to your deans, Dean Peter McKeith and Associate Dean Ethel Goodstein. I've done a little teaching and I've watched deans. A dean's role in a university may be one of the hardest jobs of all. A dean must be an administrator, camp counselor, philosophical provocateur, a promoter, a problem solver, a fundraiser. The deans are both the engines and the pilots of a school, and you have two great ones. To the students, I'm here to tell you that you are graduating from a very special school of design. I have been a teacher, often in schools lecturing, reviewing student work. I've sat on lots of reviews. I've been all over the country. I review portfolios for submissions to our office. From my view, I see a high-quality design school with graduates well prepared to help make a more humane and healthy future for us all. But I can also speak with a little bit more intimacy about the quality of your school, having some direct knowledge. We have been fortunate to employ, as Peter said, Fay Jones graduates in our office over many years. Professor Emily Baker joined us right out of school, as you are, and I have to tell you that I sit and work in a studio every single day that Emily helped design and build, and I think about her often. And she's a terrifically talented faculty member, and you're lucky to have her back here. I would still like to have her back in Jackson. Daniel Barker, a 2021 graduate, is in our office right now, helping us rethink the nature of sacred space in a very special Episcopal project in Arlington, Texas. And soon, Hattie Morrison from your class will join our team and will work on the development of an Equity Justice Center at Tougaloo College in Jackson. And we're excited to have Hattie join us. But I'm here today to honor all of you, the graduates. I'm here also to challenge you. How are you going to use these considerable skills and this education that you've acquired? I'm here to talk about the potential power that you possess and to ask you this one question: what are you going to do with it? In schools of design, we expand our minds to gain insight into the workings of the world. We guide our ability to use our imagination as a tool to make things real that didn't exist. We hone our ability to think critically. We train our hands to achieve craft quality. We train our eyes to see the character of quality. But here are my questions. How is a designer more than a service provider? Who are our real clients? What are the consequences of our work outside the lot lines, beyond our client's fee? And if you acknowledge, as I do, that the design of buildings and landscapes is all public work, what is the public value of every decision you make? How do you help make a better world? I want to share a story about an early project from our practice where we tried to explore and learn from these questions. Early in our practice, Ann and I received a commission for a school project. This was a project that was state funded, and with the funding came the requirements for the building design. 12 classrooms, 6-foot wide corridor with visible control from the principal's office, 724 square feet, 28 seats per classroom, teachers' desks at the front, and 2 marker boards, and 1 3-foot by 6-foot window. These were criteria that were all defined by our client, the State Department of Education, the staff members who were not designers, who were not educators. Their primary goal was to alleviate and avoid risk. They certainly were not interested in making an educational environment for children. We understood from the start that we had to meet the budget, meet the schedule. We also knew that the State Department of Education was not our real client. Our client were the hundreds, maybe thousands of students that would walk the halls and attend class in those classrooms over many, many years. We learned quickly we had to expand our role as a design leader. It wasn't enough to receive a commission in the studio and develop a plan and do the construction drawings and see it through construction, because the basic underpinning, the basic fabric of how the project was defined was not to the highest purpose it could be, not healthy, not educational. We took the State Department of Education staff back to the beginning, to the first decisions that framed the project requirements and helped them see we helped them see that an architectural project had responsibilities well beyond the funding and the rules and restrictions. We didn't ask them to add more money. We didn't ask them to change the schedule. We asked them to reconsider the value of architecture in our lives and its power to affect the quality of education for thousands of children. Perhaps instead of a dominating principal standing at the end of the hall, we could make a zigzag hall with pauses at classroom intersections and shift the authority to the students and their creativity. Instead of a dark interior with one window, we could make a building breathe with light, absorb the cycles of the day, the weather, and the seasons. They all could be present in the classrooms all day long. Excuse me. Perhaps a building could be seen in the larger context of its community, in its history, in its stories. In each building intervention that you work on, in each small landscape, in each interior room that you are able to transform, it changes the fundamental experience of everybody who encounters those spaces. You affect their lives in positive ways, hopefully. It's an opportunity to shape the public good. We asked our State Department of Education staff members to reconsider the very value of architecture and design and to see architecture as a third teacher. Certainly a partner in the curriculum, but also an investment in the community. For us, this is the beginning of the art of the work. This is the beginning of art in our lives and in the mission to make a better public for all of us. As a young firm, we quickly realized that design work had to start well before the projects were defined and well before they were in our studio. This expanded realization, this expanded role, is an example of practice that is more than service. This is a practice of servant leadership, both responsible to clients and communities, to budgets, to schedules, but adding your skill, your insight, your knowledge as world builders to projects before they're defined. You have the power and the capacity and the knowledge to make healthier, more equitable communities. Can your voice enter into those conversations in your communities, on the school boards, in the planning rooms, in the school districts, to help them think more progressively, more healthy about the potential environment that they're planning? We work every day to add our voice to the formation of projects. Their planning, programming, budgeting, siting. We engage communities in conversations to determine the most beneficial social and environmental goals. We research their story, all before a project is defined. And we're involved with the authorities when possible to help shape policy to make a more mature public space. For us, this is the search for public good. We believe design work in our environment, in our communities, is all public work. We believe that art is the only human discipline that asks who we might become. History tells our story. Philosophy explores our beliefs. Science asks how things work. It's only art, and here I mean the creative skills and creative thought that you now possess. It's only the art of the work that has the potential to ask how we might be better. If you see all design and architecture, landscape architecture and interior as public work, then I ask, how can we make a more healthy, equitable, and meaningful world? But I ask you, how can you lead? To see the practice of your design work, not as a service, but as a vehicle, as a springboard to help us make a healthy, equitable, and more just community. You're graduating, you're prepared, you are ready. Congratulations.
A reminder, you are all receiving professional degrees, and you have just heard from a consummate professional professing what it is to act on the basis of education and experience in the world. Thank you very much, Roy, for sharing your thoughts and your time with us. And yet we must move forward to the moment you have all been waiting for. Actually, a moment we have all been waiting for, the awarding of degrees. Awarding of degrees, we pick our words carefully here, for your degrees have already been conferred this morning upon you by Interim Chancellor Charles Robinson at the all-university commencement ceremony some hours ago. You may not have been there to know this, but you should feel that the degrees have been conferred. We have them now to award, and we will have the pleasure of presenting them to you. One after the other, our department heads and our Assistant Dean of Graduate Programs will step forward, introduce themselves, offer congratulations, and start the process of the awarding of degrees. We will go in ranked order, beginning with our Master of Design Studies students and graduates, continuing with our students in landscape architecture, then proceeding to our students in interior design, and concluding with our students in architecture. With that, I will move to the appointed spot for photography, and I know that we have our great staff to assist everyone in the process. Let's go.
Good evening. I'm Jennifer Webb, and I'm Associate Dean of Graduate Studies for the Fay Jones School of Architecture and Design, and it is truly a position that I love. With that said, I would like to invite the Master of Design Studies students in the concentrations of resiliency design, integrated wood design, and retail and hospitality design to join us here.
Philip Kling.
Sahar Parsafar.
Saba Rostami Shirazi. Erin Wiggins Reinker.
I'd like to ask the landscape architecture
Students to approach the stage. My name is Ken McCown. I serve as the Department Head of Landscape Architecture, and we're here to award the degrees, the Bachelor of Landscape Architecture. Congratulations to you all.
Rodrigo Carrillo. Zane Stanley Colvin, magna cum laude.
Joyner Dotson.
Jonathan Ivey.
Lillian Priest. Aaron Thomas Schlosser, cum laude. Winifred Van Landingham. Kobe Mac Wade, magna cum laude.
Hello, I'm Carl Matthews, and I'd like to welcome and congratulate a particularly tenacious, talented, and resilient group of interior design students to come to the stage.
Mackenzie Acklin. Abby Ossick, distinction. Parker Beasley. Mary Todd Birchler. Madison Michelle Boddington, high distinction. Holly Boren. Michaela Cheyenne Brooks. Natalie Clancy.
Caroline Coomber.
Madeline Riley Crowell. Lauren Alyssa Duran, high distinction. Anna Marie Foster. Jessica Fraley, high distinction. Reese Gott. Georgia Gilman. Catherine Grace Gonzalez. Olivia Gorham. Hope LaFay Gorney, distinction. Brian Gutierrez, distinction. Lauren Hannon, high distinction. Chloe Harris. Darby Jenkins.
Olivia Ray Jones.
Adelaide Kelly. Faith Lee. Mackenzie Lemon. Susie Linehan.
Madeline Murphy McGuire. Rachel McFarland Goodhue. Carly McGuire, magna cum laude. Mylene Ward. Casey Morgan. Madeline Oakley, high distinction. Emma Elizabeth Parker, distinction. Megan Lynn Paul, summa cum laude. Paige Penberthy. Madison McKinney Powell. Rebecca Catherine Reynolds. Aracelia Salgado. Lily Shore. Noelle Slaughter. Avery Alexander Townsell, high distinction. Sibley Ashton Turrentine. Abigail Jane Vaught, high distinction. Melissa Weichberg. Brooke Warden, cum laude. Mackenzie Waters. Houston Willock. Jenna Whitmire. Ashton Wilson, high distinction. Audrey Waltz, distinction. Luke Young. Jamie Lynn Zakovac, magna cum laude.
I'm John Fullen. I'm the head of the Department of Architecture. And last, but certainly not least, I'm very proud to introduce the courageous, the bold, the resilient, and the agile class of 2022. Please join us.
Zoe Bridgewater.
Catherine McMahon, distinction.
Joshua Aranabar, distinction. Mariana Arce Vargas. Shiloh Isaiah Bemis, magna cum laude. Angela Claire Brown, magna cum laude. Isai Castañeda, magna cum laude. Taylor Deanne Conover. Hope Elaine Conveers. Mackenzie Cusey. Gabriel D'Souza Silva, summa cum laude. Taylor Deason. Cody Ray Denton, high distinction. Leonardo Gianotti. Natalia Rodriguez. Hannah Gray, summa cum laude.
Joseph W. Green.
John Ryan Harris, magna cum laude. Kayla T. Ho, summa cum laude. Riley Page Jackson. Trevor Alexander Jackson, distinction. Brett Nathaniel Johnson, distinction. Julia Kang, distinction. Jensen King. Crystalline Jade Landrum, magna cum laude.
Lauren Alexis Miller, distinction. Harriet Morrison, high distinction. Cecilia Grace Musgrove, cum laude. Connor Jeffrey Pearson. Miranda Beth Penrice, high distinction.
Camila Pompa.
Madison Lynn Rard. Sabrina Gabrielle Rodriguez. Sarah Sims, distinction.
Nathan Robert Streeter.
William Henry Tack, magna cum laude. Stone Taylor, distinction. Harrison Wade. Emily Ann Wilcox, cum laude. Peter Williams.
Sarah Frances Wood.
Ramsey Yarbrough. Leopoldo Ephraim Zepeda. Matthew Tyler Wilson, summa cum laude.
Benjamin Gerard Ebbesmeyer, summa cum laude.
I'm stalling for time here while photographs are taken in the rear. I do not have many jokes to tell or songs to sing. You may not believe me, but I do not. I would like to recognize again, as Roy Decker has already done, the work that our department heads, our assistant deans, and our faculty all together do in the service of the school and certainly in the service of your education. Could I have a round of applause for all our department heads and faculty? I will proceed into at least one important announcement, which is on behalf of the University of Arkansas Alumni Association. Congratulations, class of 2022, on joining a community of more than 170,000 living Arkansas alumni. We encourage you to stay connected with your University of Arkansas family on campus and around the world. And to help you maintain your connections and grow your alumni network, the Arkansas Alumni Association is gifting you with a one-year complimentary membership. As you leave the stage today, stop by the association table at the back to receive an alumni decal, a special edition zipper pull, and more information about your membership. And finally, as I think you know, your name will soon be engraved on this campus on Senior Walk. Cherish your name on Senior Walk and know that you are part of a unique tradition. Congratulations, alumni. Could I ask for a round of applause now for our newly formed graduates? I want to recognize the many members of our staff who work day in and day out. They've been referred to in different contexts along the way this afternoon. But as much as we are privileged by a superb faculty, we are privileged each and every day by an amazing staff in our workshops, in our student services, in our communications, in our advancement, in our dean's office and departmental office, all across the school. I think each and every one of you at some point has had recourse to our advising staff, career development, to many members of our staff altogether. We're joined in particular today by several members of our student services who deserve particular recognition, not just for the work that they've done to bring today into existence, but for the work they do day in and day out. I'd like to recognize Melinda Smith, Teresa Parrish, and Sherry Lynn Brown for all of their work that they do. Please ask a round of applause. Equally in the dean's office, there are perhaps too many unsung heroes. One in particular is Byron McCune, who's sitting there back at the control board, working together with Carol Rouser, Jen Shipley, many others in our dean's office to make everything go so well. A round of applause for Byron and all in the dean's office. I want to refer back to our alumni in closing from 1972 and 1997. Amazing people who have all gone on to not just productive careers, but productive and rewarding lives. As we, of course, we hope very much for you as you move forward. But of course, in thinking about 1972 and 1997, hopefully you understood that 50 years ago, 25 years ago, today, the world still needs good architects, good landscape architects, good interior designers, people thinking and working on behalf of communities. The challenges of 1972 remain challenges in 1997, and in some strange and ongoing way, they remain challenges now. Avian flu in 1997, yes? We have worked too hard in such strange ways over these last several years to let it evaporate. It is time to act. I contend day in and day out that the Fay Jones School is a radical proposition in design education, that we are bound by an ambitious ethos, proposing meaningful, purposeful, intimate places for people of all walks of life to live their lives with meaning and purpose. Hopefully you have encountered this ethos somewhere along the way in your education, because that encounter and your collective work is radically propositional, even as speculative as it has been. Hopefully it has stimulated you and challenged you to go forward. As I contend that the moment when such a vision, when such an ethos can no longer be proposed for an individual or society, then the making of authentic design becomes almost impossible. I hope this is in you as you graduate. And let's put it up to the big picture that Roy Decker has proposed for us. How should we assess our society? Perhaps best by a society's care for its children, its elderly, for the less advantaged, by our equitable or our ability to equitably provide for a full quality of life to all, and thus at least in part by its architecture, its landscape architecture, its interior design. How should we assess an architect, an interior designer, a landscape architect? Perhaps best by those designers' cultivation of literacy, of education, of civic gathering, of individual and collective worship, of physical and mental well-being, and thus ultimately by the demonstrated and built commitment to design as a humane social practice. Today you graduate. Today you have also been called to the public good. That is our hope for you as you move forward. It is the fundamental and radical proposition of the Fay Jones School, and we wish you well as you begin your lives beyond the school. We will now recess as a stage party and together with our faculty and leave you to your celebrations with your families. But as we recess, we have, or maybe I have, decided it might be best to leave with some joy rather than sheer pomp and circumstance. So a song, a hit song from 1997, oh no, 1972 in fact, has been chosen for us to have some rhythm in our step as we all recess. Could I ask Gabrielle to take our banner? Gabrielle, our banner man. Gabrielle Diaz Montemayor. And could I ask for our recessional to begin? The stage party will follow me stage right. We will proceed across and disappear and leave you to your celebrations. May I have our selection, please?